It's 4 a.m. in the woods over here. Actually, we're in my daughter's bedroom, and I'm wearing her hair bow because I couldn't find one, and it's very dark and very early and quiet in my house. You didn't need to know all that. Let's get into it. 4 a.m. in the woods is another way to put it nicely that we get up at the butt crack of dawn. Actually, earlier than the butt crack of dawn, the little place above your back before you get to the butt crack. We're bringing our first fruits to God by cracking open the Bible and doing chapter by chapter studies in the book of 2 Samuel. Now, this has been so good, I might just do all the chapters, the whole Bible, baby. But for today, we are in 2 Samuel chapter 5. In the last chapter, we hear about Saul's son Ishbosheth's death. We learn about Rechab and Benaiah's betrayal to their king, Ishbosheth. They killed him while he was taking his midday nap. Now, isn't that some? After all of this, David takes out justice on these two men, these two betrayers. They thought they were going to get ahead in David's army. They actually died. David purged them off the earth, and they underestimated his true character. David has been waiting for this moment for a very long time. All the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron and said, "Here we are, your own flesh and blood. Even while Saul was king over us, you were the one who led us out to battle and brought us back. The Lord also said to you, you will shepherd my people Israel, and you will be ruler over Israel." So all of the elders of Israel came to the king at Hebron. King David made a covenant with them at Hebron in the Lord's presence, and they anointed David king over Israel. Here we still see David as a man of war. The first battle that we see in David's reign is the one with the Jebusites. These Jebusites were so prideful and arrogant, they would call out, "You will never get in here. Even the blind and lame can repel you," thinking that David can't get in here. I don't think they knew who David's MVP was, okay? Also, they must have been completely unaware of the song. The song. Yet David did capture the stronghold of Zion. "This is the city of David," he said that day. "Whoever attacks the Jebusites must go through the water shaft to reach the lame and the blind who are despised by David." David took up residence in the stronghold, which he named the city of David. He built it up all the way around from the supporting terraces inward. This is a pretty huge deal for Jerusalem. Jerusalem became a capital. After this battle, Jerusalem became a capital and has remained a capital ever since. The unification of all the tribes is a huge deal. So not only is David seeing all of these promises come to fruition, but he's also seeing God unite the tribes of Israel, God make Jerusalem a capital, and then he's also finally starting to feel like a king a little bit. David became more and more powerful, and the Lord God of armies was with him. King Hiram of Tyre sent envoys to David. He also sent cedar logs, carpenters, stonemasons, and they built a palace for David. Then David knew that the Lord had established him as king over Israel and had exalted his kingdom for the sake of the people of Israel. Not only did it take a palace for David to feel like, "Oh man, this is actually it," but it took other kings and people to help build it. It just was like he was seeing all of this before his eyes. I heard a podcast, I don't remember where it's from, forgive me, but it was a psychology podcast about success and stuff like that, and it mentioned that when you are trying to achieve a goal or trying to reach something, when you start to see it environmentally, that's when this starts to change. You start to believe it. And in that moment, you have such a boost of motivation and your mindset shifts. After David arrived to Hebron, it says David took more concubines and wives from Jerusalem and had more sons and daughters. I just never really understood why it was okay for them to marry so many women. Have all the ladies. You can only serve one master, so if you got 40, no, I'm just kidding. So I looked into why kings had so many wives, and this is what I kind of found. So you can let me know in the comments what you think and your opinion on it and all that good stuff. In ancient times, wives were kind of a symbol of power and success and wealth. Wives were also used in political ways, practical ways, companionship, social reasons, and so all of the wives and the concubines had actually a little bit of power. And I guess it would be a good thing to secure your line as king by having a bunch of kids. It's kind of like the first lady. She has her part in the job. In the Old Testament, God kind of allowed it, but it did cause some problems later on for King Solomon. All of King Solomon's wives kind of turned his heart away from God. In the New Testament, it more talked about how monogamy was more ideal. Back to kingly duties, we have the Philistines coming in, ready to fight David and his army. See, right here in verse 19, it says, "Then David inquired of the Lord, 'Should I attack the Philistines? Will you hand them over to me?' The Lord replied to David, 'Attack, for I will certainly hand the Philistines over to you.' So David went to, and the Lord did what he said he was going to do. And then the Philistines came up again, spread out in the valley of Rephaim. So David inquired of the Lord, and he answered, 'Do not attack, circle around them, and come at them opposite the balsam trees. When you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the balsam trees, act decisively, for then the Lord will have gone ahead of you to strike down the army of the Philistines.' So David did exactly as the Lord commanded him, and he struck down the Philistines all the way from Geba to Gezer." David is still seeking the Lord, and the Lord is still answering him. He's even giving him battle plans and straight up going to war for him. God is so good. David's MVP is still the Lord, and it is showing in his success. It is showing in his favor of the Lord's chosen people, and it's just a good chapter. We have seen David struggle and go through all of this, and he's still in battle. I'm sure that he was on an encouragement, on an up, when he's finally seeing God's promises being fulfilled and people are rallying around him. He's their king, and it's just a good place of leadership for him. I'm so glad to still see him seeking after the Lord for decisions and just realizing who his real MVP is over all of this. God is faithful to his promises. I will see you all at chapter 6 tomorrow, and we're going to keep writing the story of David where he goes through triumphs, some transgressions, and some troubles. So hang in there, and I'll see you all at the next 4 a.m.